Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to see how to fetch Salesforce conversation entries using Conversation Data API. Previously, in order to fetch conversation entries, we had an option to make use of Connect API in Salesforce to retrieve it. Now we have Conversation Data API, which is available from Salesforce, using which we can easily retrieve the conversation entries. In this video, we are going to see how we are going to make use of Conversation Data API to fetch the conversation entries. The prerequisite for making use of Conversation Data API is first thing is we have to enable Conversation Service API. If we go to Salesforce setup, in the Salesforce setup, search for Conversation Service APIs. In the quick find, you can easily search for it. Open the Conversation Service APIs and toggle on Conversation Service APIs. Once this is enabled, we have to create external client app. Make use of this Salesforce article and follow all the steps that are shared in this configure an external client app section and create the connected app previously called as, now it is external client app in Salesforce. So create that configuration in Salesforce setup. Once the external client app is ready, you will be able to get consumer key and also consumer secret in Salesforce. Once that is also done, then the first step is we have to do a post request. We have to do a post request to your Salesforce my domain URL /services/services /or2/token. So if you do a post request to this endpoint with the help of client ID and client secret from your external client app with the grant type as client credentials, you will be able to get the access token. Now let's send a request. I am able to get an access token. Now, in order to get the conversation entries, we have to make a GET request to https://api.salesforce.com/platform/engagement/ the current version is v1.0/conversation-entries. In the param, you have to pass the conversation identifier, and in the header, you have to pass authorization as bearer space the access token which you got it from the previous post request. Now let's see what is this conversation identifier. So after getting the access token, you should do a GET request and then you should be able to see all the conversation entries for this particular conversation identifier. Okay, now let's see what is this conversation identifier. For all the conversation that happened between Salesforce Agentforce agent or human agent and also with the end users, we have all this stored in an entity called messaging session. So if you open a messaging session record, if you go to the details, you should see conversation identifier. From here, you should be able to get the conversation identifier value for this particular messaging session record. If you wanted to query the conversation identifier, then you can make use of this particular SOQL. So I'm not going to make use of Postman to execute this query, but in my developer console, I'm going to execute this query. So here I'm able to get the messaging session record ID from the URL. So I'm going to get the ID here. So I got the ID. Now here I have to replace this ID. So this is the conversation identifier for this messaging session record. Okay, so you can make use of this SOQL also, so that you will be able to get the conversation identifier. So just with the help of conversation data API, we were able to fetch all the conversation entries for a conversation identifier, and the conversation identifier is stored in messaging session record. Please check the video description. In the video description, I have shared my blog post. From the blog post, you should be able to get the prerequisites, the steps. I have also shared the Salesforce help article so that you can make use of this article to create the external client app. And I have also shared the SOQL using which you should be able to get the conversation identifier for a particular messaging session record. I hope it was helpful. Thank you for watching.